Alright, so this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, but is how do you leverage your Smash experience to get a job? And I'm not talking like esports or anything in like the video game industry, but more so just like any job. We play this game for so much, it's such an important part of our lives, at least for me personally, that during job interviews, I bring it up all the time. And it's honestly helped me get some jobs, in the past. And I think that there's a lot to take out from everything that we can do in the Smash community. So let's just start a little bit about myself. There's two sides to it. You see my more official business side, and then you see my regular Melee degen side as well. But Melee's been in my life since 2015. I was chasing top 100. I was 14 in New York City. I started co-hosting a podcast eventually, and then now getting into content creation. So because of Melee, I've gotten to experience so many different things, even just outside of the standard double elimination bracket. And as I mentioned earlier, I openly talk about my love for the game, and it honestly helps me stand out during interviews. These people are doing so many interviews in a day for a role. Having this one cool thing sometimes does make a difference. And honestly, I'm like 2 for 2 for talking about Melee and what I do and how intense it is, and nerding out honestly, and finding a job. I've even started Smash clubs at companies, or they've had a Smash club, and I've played with the CEO, and they say their favorite players can. So sometimes it is a small world. Melee's a sick game. There's no reason that you need to hide it like what my parents suggest. Just let it all hang out pretty much. So the first part I want to talk about is as a player, right? We're all mostly players in this community, right? And there are certain things as such that we're able to leverage during a job interview. One is that you're competitive, especially in business and in most industries. Being competitive is really important, and them knowing that you are that type of person really helps. It also really helps, obviously if you're PR'd and stuff, though I don't think that is a big requirement, but just I thought it was important to note that, if you are PR'd in anything, definitely rank drop. It shows that you're excellent at something. But even if you're not PR'd, the next 3 bullet points are really like the key things for being a competitive player, right? One is you learn how to learn. That is so crucial. One, for the onboarding process for work, they're really looking for that. And, when I've talked about it with other companies, their eyes light up, when I say that I know what works best for me, I know how I learn best. And that understanding of yourself is just applicable in any field, honestly. And the next thing is just, having to deal with ego, always losing, unless you win the tournament, you're not the best player in the room, and you got to deal with that ego and learn from your failure and not be afraid of it. And if you're a Melee player and you've been in the community for a while, or even if you're just starting out, that's a really important lesson to learn. That's an important life lesson that people learn, and it happens that it is coming through Melee, for me at least. But mention that this is why you're able to carry yourself, to a high standard and not let it sort of affect you. Another big role in the Melee community is as a commentator. Shout outs to my podcast host JD on the Wannabes podcast. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You're an excellent public speaker, and you should let that be known. You're able to express ideas and events in a clear and concise way. That is so crucial in any field, especially when you are factoring that ability and presenting it to large groups. If you are publicly streaming, if you are commentating for a big event or for a local, you're streaming in front of hundreds and thousands of people, and what you say needs to be concise so that they are able to understand that. That is a skill, and you don't want to undersell that. And on top of that, you can flip it. Not only are you a great speaker, but you're a great listener. You have a co-host. You can talk about the dynamics of it and the importance of listening. That shows you're a team player to the company, and that is also really, really important. All right, next big thing, shout outs to Alston Melee for, obviously hosting the Alston Melee Bender, and shout outs to Doodle Dudester, who is the guy who made my logo that you can see on the bottom right. I'm gonna close my cam for a little bit just so you can see it. Doodle Deucer, such a homie, amazing graphic artist. So back to content creation. This is kind of the most straightforward one. One, you just have more skills than other people, and it's mostly production related, especially for a startup company. If you're looking sort of in the startup realm, having multiple skills outside of your traditional skill set from school is really important. For me, I'm able to list that I know how to do audio editing and also graphics editing for my podcast and for my streams and thumbnails. You can show that you have an eye for design. If you actually create stuff, make a portfolio. That's super big. Once again, public speaking, 100% crucial. Being part of a content creator, same thing applies as a commentator. And lastly, you understand social media platforms and, you know, understand what the target audience is. That goes for any field, anything that you're trying to sell. It just happens that we're selling how sick Melee is and how sick Smash is, but essentially that's just marketing. That's not anything else. And the fact that we're able to market in the Melee community, inside the Smash community, you can put that on your resume to stand out more. Lastly, shout outs to all the TOs. If you're a TO, I think that is one of the biggest things you can leverage during a job interview. It's one of the best roles that you can have because it's so multifaceted. One, obviously you have event organizing experience. You're not only able to run events smoothly, but you're able to create them from the ground up. You can show that you can have an idea and then actually make tangible results from it into an actual event. Next is a leadership role. Being the TO, you are taking care of your community. You are instructing people. If you're the head TO, even more so. And so that's really a leadership role. And when you see kind of like bullshit, you know, like must have like X experience and you're like, I just got out of college, this is a great thing to put if you're a TO. You know, you're able to be in a leadership role and, you know, communicate effectively with people. Next thing is managing finances. You know, you're handling, you know, payouts for tournaments. You're also handling people entry fees and all of that. If you're doing a big charity event, you're also handling all the charity that goes to, you know, an organization and all the fundraising that goes with it. And you can also throw in marketing there as well, like marketing your local event, your regional event, or even a majors. Really, really important. And then lastly, it's like the ability to kind of think on your feet as problems arise. You know, no bracket goes perfectly. You can talk about the times where the bracket was running late, or a player went missing because he went to grab food, or anything like that, and how you solved it. All of these things essentially boils down to being able to answer interview questions when you're there. Not only can you put this on your resume, but you're also able to talk about it openly during an interview. That's most certainly what I have done and what I definitely plan on continue doing as I look for a new job right now. Alright, that's the end of the episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts. And also, this is a new channel, so any little bit helps and will be much appreciated. If you want to see more of me, you can find me at wasabi with 2 S's on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And if you want to hear me talk more with a good friend of mine, JD, about Melee mentality and growing up, check out the Wannabes podcast. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Podbean. You can also find us on Twitter at the Wannabes Pod. Anyways, have a good day, everyone. Peace.